Hey, everybody, and welcome to Carside Chat. Today, we're going to be talking about is photography of the automotive sort right for you? We got people new to the industry, been around for a little bit, popping fresh, and somebody who's been on for a long time that you guys probably know really well. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Carside Chat. I am your host, Primo. Look at this. We got some high-grade stuff in here. It doesn't really fit right, but anyway, I'm going to change my thing later, maybe sort it down a little bit. But yeah, welcome back to Carside Chat. We are all into doing the pro podcast here now. It's really awesome. I'm really happy about it. And don't forget that we have some new stuff coming up. I'm very excited about it. We just got back from the Bentley car show at the Bentley University in Waltham. Amazing show with tons of cool vehicles that we have. That video will go up Friday at 5 p.m. So don't miss it. And if you ever don't want to miss anything, remember we have our website, which is top tier executive automotive society.com. And that's the thing is we have things everywhere. So executive automotive society.com. We have the YouTube. We have right now we're doing on Facebook, Twitch, we're on LinkedIn, and even Twitter. So that's, I guess LinkedIn is a beta program. So I'm hoping you guys are liking that today. So what's the topic for today, which I want to just get right into? It is all going to be about automotive photography. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get some people that knew their salt, both that's been in the industry and people who have not been in it for a while. And they do their pain. So let's first up, we got Joel Chappell of NewEnglandAutoShows.com. How you doing, Joel?
I am doing well.
Okay, and everybody knows Joel. Joel's back for the second or third. Actually, how many times have you been on the show?
The different iterations are almost too many to count now.
I've lost count, but anyway,
yeah.
Well, it's the beauty of it.
It's always a good time. It's always a good time.
Exactly.
Always a good time.
And I always love having you on the show. You're always welcome to come back. Next, we have Tano Rinaldi of Always Stay Focused Media. How's it going today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Okay, yeah, we're focusing things. Have you gotten any car shows in this year?
Not so far, but I've definitely got a good couple coming up soon that I'm really stoked for.
What are you stoked for the most then? How's that?
Probably Wicked Big down in Connecticut. Big Subaru show. I'm stoked. I've been going for a good couple of years. Met some great people there, seen some awesome cars.
Wow. Okay, and last but certainly not least today is the legendary Rodney. I'm just going to say Rodney DVA. How's that? Is that good?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
12 years of experience in the automotive industry. Did you start, I think, what was your official start year? Was it 2010?
April 2010.
2010, man. And I think, was I at that? I was at that first one, right?
That was the one I got you in trouble in.
That's the one we got me in trouble in. That was a Cars and Coffee. Yeah, we've had this discussion
BMW.
a couple of times. In BMW, yep. Exactly. What a time, man. And that's the thing is I mean, of all the stuff that you've done in your 12 years of experience here, what do you think is the most defining moment for you when it comes to this automotive photography thing?
Oh boy. There's not just one thing. There's so many, but you know what the one thing is? It's the people.
Right.
It's the people. It's the people you meet, the people that, because they're all great to work with.
Right.
As far as the defining moment, it's really hard to pinpoint one.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Well, here's the first chat we have of the day. Let's talk live. So, Primo, you need to enable super chats. Yeah, we're going super chats. That's the thing is everybody wants me to do this stuff. I'm going to put stuff up. I don't know how it's going to work over multiple platforms. So we're just going to have to see how it goes. And maybe about I'd say the fourth or fifth show, once we get we got a couple of viewers now, but that's the thing is it goes over all these different platforms and we're on platforms that are brand new. That's the thing is if you want to look us up, and don't just want to get the video thing, we're on the pilot program for Spotify for video. So that goes up. It's either, I think it's going to go up tomorrow. They have to process our videos and then do their stuff that way and then put it up. So it's a little bit later, but there's a lot of stuff like Amazon, Google, pretty much this stuff is everywhere. So if you guys want a piece of it, you can take a look at it. And it's always a good, like, hit the old, let's see. Oh, there's a subscribe. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to hit that later because that didn't play right, Joel. Did you see that?
No,
that's the thing. Look at this. No, I didn't because we didn't see the car. You guys see the McLaren.
There it is.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm
Listen,
new.
as long as you get the ding.
Exactly. Cool. All right. So, so we're going to look at the experience here. Now, the thing that I want people to kind of learn today, not only is kind of what is automotive photography for you, it's is it right for you? Is it something that you're going to get into? Is it something that's going to be long-term or short-term? Now, the thing that I want to do this is I want to kind of go up the charts here of the people that we have here and kind of see where you guys are dedicated to it long-term. And I think it's funny because I think I already know Rodney's answer, but
nope,
so Joel,
not at all.
Okay, good. All right. That's perfect. So Joel, the first thing is for you, because you've been doing this only 2 years now, right? You got your first picture photography stuff at Meet New England. You came out with a bang. The stuff you came out was probably some amazing photography right out of the gate.
Well, I mean, I was doing other stuff before that. That was before I think
right.
Meet New England is where I really upped my game.
Right.
And you know, I had done, you know, other, you know, I did the New England International Auto Show and other stuff, but I literally felt as if I was just an average guy with an average computer or an average camera,
right?
And just really kind of taking what anybody else would take. I didn't think I was doing anything special, and I occasionally got that, like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good shot,
right?
Type of thing. And I always felt I was lucky.
Yours right here. This is one of yours, isn't it?
That is my shot. Yeah,
right.
That's actually from the York Auto Show last year. And I break a lot of rules I do break a lot of rules of photography. And one of the rules, especially for automotive photography, is you know, unless it's a girl, you don't want any other people in it. But I actually love getting like people who are reacting to the car. You know, that gentleman is just like enthralled with that car. He's obviously like moved by that car. And that's one of the reasons I love that shot.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and to skip about here, then I know that Joel, you run New England Auto Show. So obviously you're a car guy. Rodney, I think it goes without saying that you are a car guy. Am I correct with saying that?
Yes,
absolutely. Even when we didn't have cameras, I don't think we missed much. So, but yeah, but Tano, is it the same thing with you? Would you start off a car guy, or did it kind of go photography and then become a car guy?
I think they kind of started both about the same time for me. I think car guy kind of started first. I kind of grew up going to small car shows with family. I'm not sure if I really knew that I was interested at the time. It was mostly just like, hey, my dad's bringing me to Kimball's. There happens to be cool cars there, and I get free ice cream.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what built into it for me.
This is one. That's yours. Oh, that's
that's one of Joel's.
Yeah,
one of Joel. Oh, hey man, hold on. Which one is it? Is this one of yours? That's a Tano.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's solid. See, you poor guy, starting off with the models and all the nice photographs. And anyway, but yeah. So that's the thing is it really is that it is having that history in automotive. Do you think it helps? To, in other words, have that history to start off and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be this automotive photographer. I'm going to be an automotive guy. And then say, you know what? I keep going to these shows. I got this stupid camera here. Why don't I just start taking pictures?
Yeah, it definitely is very, I think, beneficial to have the kind of the automotive background going into the photography. Because I'm part of the community. I'm part of the kind of the general mindset of what cars are kind of up and coming, what cars are interesting right now. Right. And as a car guy myself, I know what I like to look at for pictures of cars. So I can come up with ideas of things that other people are going to like as well, and I can kind of build my work around that.
Right. Exactly. Perfect. So yeah, I mean, I'm just check. That's the thing is I'm checking some of this stuff out here, right here, and I'm like, this has got to be one of my favorites. This is one of Rodney's photos right here,
Nice.
and
So if there's ever a rule break, is putting a Lamborghini in snow.
dude, we were okay. So
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
those
they
are
got
the
it.
race cars.
yeah, so if you see that picture again, my desk was actually to the right of that picture. And so what happened is we had a sponsor that came in, and that was for Lamborghini Boston. I think you can actually see it on the car right there. Yeah. So if you look on the right, the black car, you can see the Lambo Boston right on the car. So what happened is they ended up getting the sponsorship. They brought in the cars, and then everything was supposed to be beautiful and gorgeous. No, it snowed. New England, go figure.
Right.
So yeah, so after they did that, they still had them there, and they said, we're going to do some of this stuff and have them over here and do some. We ended up having them back like probably 4 or 5 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think Rodney did you know they were going to be there, Rodney, or you just kind of?
Somebody gave me a heads up that they were there, but actually that shot came together because I actually helped the guy load him into the trailer.
There you go.
To leave.
And that was that Angel Motorsports?
No, that was what is it? Masante Racing?
Yeah,
Out of
I can't
Connecticut?
remember, man. It's been a long time. So, but anyway, So if you guys are looking for some of this stuff, so it's the thing is everybody knows where Joel is. Don't forget that Tano. We got Tano here at Always Stay Focused Media. You just have an Instagram right now, correct?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page, but honestly, I'm not really kind of keeping it up to date. I haven't got it fully flushed out yet. Instagram is definitely the place to go if you want to see my work. That's where I put all of my best stuff up.
Yeah. So you didn't give us your best stuff? I thought this was really a good picture.
That one's mine.
That was yours? Oh my
That one's
God.
mine.
Right yet.
See, that's the problem. You know what? You guys didn't give me logos here. I gotta get stuff. Whose
Oh,
is
you know
this?
what?
That's
I thought about that.
That's
There you
mine
go.
too.
That's yours too? Wow.
That's
That's too
mine
much
too.
Rodney stuff here. Okay. I should have clarified it before we started, didn't I? But anyway. But yeah, so with with the passion of doing stuff. So let's say there's somebody, and I want to get everybody's input on this. I'm a new person. I just picked up my camera. I want to start doing stuff where it's relevant and people are going to like what I'm seeing. And that's the thing is that's really what it is. If you're going to be a photographer, you want to make pictures that are good to take and share out there and see. What are going to be some of the things that you're going to recommend? And I'll start with you, Joel. Go ahead.
I don't think you should limit yourself to any equipment. It's you can even start with a phone, a camera phone kind of thing, and like my first bunch of photos, believe it or not, were actually done with a Droid Turbo, and then I thought, well, I'll go back to my DSLR that I bought when when my kids first arrived, type thing, and then when you can't limit yourself to equipment kind of thing, because if you try and say I can't take photos until I have a real camera, you'll never start. And I think it's all about any true photographer, I think, can use any piece of equipment and get a great shot. It's all about setting up the shot and seeing the shot and envisioning the shot. And if you have that type of vision, it doesn't matter what you're using, and don't be afraid to use any medium for it.
And I think that is the biggest trick there, is to say that, what do you call it? I did it. It did it to me, and I hated it because I kept telling myself, I'm not going to do it until I get the right camera, or I'm not going to do it until I get the right.
I think everybody's fallen into that trap when they first start. And I did too. I was like, how can I have this website when I'm using this, phone camera? And then I pulled out this like ancient Nikon D40, which was when anybody who was going to get a DSLR digital camera at 6 megapixels, that's the one that they picked up. And
What do you think about today? Somebody can just pick up an iPhone right now and take 4K huge resolution images that are like incredible.
I'm double-edged sword on it. And on the one hand, I think it's great that people can use that medium and do well with it, but on the same token, I kind of get frustrated that I can't do the it seems like I
I
can't
don't
do the
think that
same.
was taken with a cell phone, by the way.
No, that was taken with a Canon 5D Mark II with a 17-40, I believe.
Right. All right, Tono, what do you got? Do you see anything you can tell these guys to say, don't suck? How's that?
Yeah, I am so glad that Joel kind of mentioned the idea of don't let your gear limit you. There's a photographer at Meet New England that I know, and I think Joel, you know too. He only works with a phone. I have never seen him hold a DSLR of any kind, and his work is incredible. He works with the models, he works with the cars, and he comes up with amazing pictures. And yes, there's limitations to what he can shoot, but there's no limitations to his creativity. And I think that's the part that the entry photographers need to understand is that while yes, your gear may limit what you can do physically, it's not going to limit what you can do creatively. You're still going to be able to come up with some wild, incredible shots that no one has ever seen before with an old phone, and that's definitely something that a lot of people struggle with. And I know that I have. I think a lot of early photographers very quickly start Googling, all right, what's the next camera I'm going to get? What's the next lens I'm going to get? And there gets to be kind of an excitement and a hype around the next new piece of gear that, comes out every couple of years. And at what point do you kind of have to sit back and say, okay, let me practice my trade rather than practice purchasing new things,
Oh my God, I love this shot.
That was one of my favorites from Meet New England. That was the season closer, the Halloween event that we did. This guy brought his bike in and it literally shoots flames.
Oh, so that is actually shooting flames.
Yes.
That's not like a
no.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that is fire coming out of the tailpipes of that bike.
Did either of the ladies involved in this go like, okay, I'm worried that something's going to catch on fire? Or,
they were both just having way too much fun with that.
Yeah,
I have seen a shoot where we were doing a video shoot. It wasn't mine; it was somebody else's. I wish I could have said it was mine, but basically it was like a commercial. And that thing about the woman that had all the spray in her hair, and they made her hair kind of swishy looking, and it caught on fire. It wasn't long, but it was still that like you're just like,
no.
oh, that's not good. Yeah, so that test didn't work out well. But yeah, that's it. I think that two things that we got here is obviously get started, get an eye, and then the idea is kind of build up your equipment. Is that the wording for? In other words, take the steps that you can take as you take them to get to kind of that next level. And that's gonna. What I want people to do is you take a picture. And that's what happened to me was I took mine was not just pictures, it was video, but I made the first stuff and people would look at it and say, wow, that's really good. And it motivated me to go to that next level, to kind of spend some more money on it, or kind of at least, form a budget of what I could. Now my budget's out of control, but back then it was like
it's weird how that goes.
Right. Yeah. So once you get in it more, it's feeding your own, monster. But yeah, Rodney, you literally, I don't think there isn't much that you haven't done when it comes to this, because you have the impressive images that where you get people to just come in and take pictures with you and do this stuff and have access to some supercars that I think people here can only dream to be in touch with. So what is really your big trick right now for, I guess, 12 years of longevity?
Well, is the big trick of what? Staying with
all
it
of
all?
it.
Or
Yeah, in other words, I'm a new guy. I want to be like Rodney. How do I do it?
just get in there and get it done. Take your phone, do it. There's a lot of people, they'll go out and they'll buy the new Sony A7. They'll spend $5,000, but they'll still just get normal regular pics.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta start with your phone. Learn everything. There's so many apps today. Snapseed, Lightroom. You can use it all on your phone. You can edit everything. You can do a lot with phones. A lot of professionals are going to be screaming out there, but I've seen a lot of cell phones. A lot of cell phones have outproduced people with $4,000 camera setups. Plus, also realize what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do it on a budget, you got the phone. There's so many different apps that will do the editing. I just came across an adapter. So, like circular polarizer filters, you can actually put an adapter on your phone, so you could use the different filter techniques and stuff like that. You can be so it's just being creative and getting out there and just getting it done, and not worrying what people think. Get to find what your niche is and go after it.
Yeah. I wanted to show
That's
this
the
other
biggest
one.
thing.
That's the one we showed before. I wanted it. Let's see. Oh, this one right here. This is another one. That pick right there, just, I don't know. It's
That's
incredible.
cool with the castle and the car.
The juxtaposion of like everything.
Yeah,
You got his modern dress, her like old school dress. You got the new car, and then the old. There's so much awesomeness in this shot.
No, that's a really good
shot.
shot.
Was actually, it was from I got hired in to work at a fashion show. So there were a bunch of very experienced fashion models working there, showing off designer stuff from small custom designers. And I took these two off to the side and I was like, hey, there's this great car. The black and red is going to look amazing. And I saw that castle turret in the background. I'm like, guys, this is going to be fantastic.
Is that the place in Salem?
No, it's down in Connecticut.
It's down in Connecticut.
Yep.
That's amazing. And
it was an incredible shoot.
Yeah.
But Alan.
Yeah.
Alan,
what?
That's the trick. He saw something.
Yeah.
That's the trick. That he saw something, he put it together and took it.
Yeah. Have the vision.
That's the whole key to all this. Is just if you have a vision, make it come to life.
Yeah. I think this is something that people have a problem with, and that's the thing is it's getting that vision from your head there.
That's the biggest thing that I struggle with right now.
Right. Yeah. But the thing that I keep telling people that I always say, this kind of trips them, and they go, wait a minute, once I heard that, they got it, was you see the vision and you want to do all the stuff, and you're like, what makes a picture exciting? It's very difficult to kind of put in a package. And I looked at it and I said, tell a story. That's it. When you see the pictures, these pictures where this is it. This is the future. This is, this is the car, that picture that picture is telling a story. And all the pictures that tell stories are the pictures that we covet. They don't even have to be that great quality, but you look at that picture and you're either filling in the blanks or you want to know what that picture was about. How did that picture come to be? What motivated you at that moment to be in that moment to take that picture? And if you think about all the pictures out there that have won huge awards, they're pictures that tell stories, or they're part of a story. And the crazy thing about what we do is that our journey is an automotive journey that just kind of never ends. And I think that's where we kind of get choked up on things, because we don't know, what story we're telling. You know what I mean? But like this picture right here, this is, which one's, who's is this one? This is Joel, right?
That's mine.
Joel. This one right here, it's very simple, but there's depth to it. There's a color scheme. There's a restaurant in the back. It's on a street. You even got the word drain lined up right.
I loved. There was so much about this shot that, and I actually submitted this shot to be judged by a photography group, and I kind of did this is a breaking of so many rules, because there's so much. It's too busy.
Yeah.
The leading lines are kind of off, and there's a lot of distraction to it, but yet I love it. And I said, sometimes it's about knowing when to break the rules. And I thought the juxtaposition of the word drain, like, is it a drain on my bank account for having that, having that car with the gas going into it, especially nowadays. And I just thought it was just beautiful. And honestly, I will also say that I probably caught the drain thing like while I was doing the edit. It was kind of doing sometimes you'll going back to advice to up and coming is sometimes it's just take the shot. Right. Don't worry too much about the setup. Just take the shot, because sometimes you'll find something that's in the shot that you're not even seeing yet until you get onto the editor or whatever. And realistically, like, the only edits that I pretty much do now is like I'll recrop, maybe straighten a little bit, very, very seldom am I doing like absolute color, and very rarely am I doing any like editing of like removal of items or anything like that. I kind of like to take my shots as they are, flaws and all.
Who is this one?
That'd be me.
That's
That's
Thanos.
Thanos, yeah.
Which is
'Cause
ironically on my car.
I was gonna say
That's
this is
why I
old
chose this
car.
one. I was like,
That is actually my car.
And
And it
I
was
was-
funny, like so. Here's the I'll give a little bit of the story on this because
Okay.
this was the day that I met Tano.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, "You're a photographer," and I went, "No, I just take shots for my website." And he just laughed at me and he said, "No, you're a photographer. Come with me. Let's take some shots, right?"
Right.
And so he kind of said, "Listen, I'll introduce you to everybody, and and make sure that they know that you're going to approach them about like taking shots." So I literally, I think I told you I was really worried about being the old fogey guy with gray hair that everybody was going to be afraid of, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "No, don't worry, I'll talk to him." And so she was literally walking by, and I'm like, "Hey, can we take a quick shot?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Sit like right here." And like I actually squeezed off 2 shots.
Nice.
And that's all I got, and both of them came out incredible.
Nice.
And then he was like literally like I think he spun around like and just literally like grabbed that off on a single shot kind of thing.
Right.
And I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I think we both like showed each other, and I was just like, oh crap, his is better.
that poor woman on that old vet. I don't know.
Right.
It was
Right.
I almost felt like there was a lot of comedy in it at the same time when I was like I couldn't get it because I like the vet and it was very old school, but it had such a new school.
So the amount of crap that I got from my wife when she saw those photos, and she was like, "You won't even let me sit on the vet, and you let that girl sit on your car."
no.
Sorry, that's
Oh, Joel, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You were like, all the pictures and the negatives have to go away now.
Right.
So one of the things, and I think this is something that we got, and I'm kind of capturing some of the stuff you're saying, and I really love it, kind of boxing it together, is first, the idea of getting experience, the idea that you're never going to learn how to master your field unless you take some crappy photos. And that's what I loved. When we first did our first stuff, everybody's like, well, why did you do the first show with your cell phone and do it the crappiest you can possibly do? And I said, well, because that's as worse as it can get. It can't get any worse than that. If I try from here on in and do better, it's got to be good, right?
But it's more than that. It's not like the old days when I first took photography in high school, and back then it was just film, and you had 36 shots, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know what you were getting until you developed it.
Right.
So now that excuse is gone. Now it's like literally you can take you put a 128 gig freaking memory stick in, and you take like 500 to 1,000 shots, and yeah, you might only get 100 out of it, like 500 or whatever kind of thing. But sometimes there's gold. There literally can be gold, and it's just by virtue of just taking the shot and not be. We no longer have the limitation of being afraid to take the shot and wasting that one piece of celluloid.
Think about this too. Not only, but like when I started taking photography, and when I did my first shots, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook, there was not even forums. We did our photography and all our stuff. Today, if you want to take a class about learning how to take a photo, you can actually go on YouTube. 10 seconds later, you've got 72,000 videos probably. They're going to tell you how to take the picture, what lens to use, how is depth of field, the triangle, you know what I mean? I can't remember. I never remember the wording for
which
it.
is almost obsolete now.
Right. But the thing is you're going to get everything of the history of it in a couple of minutes, and you should be able to take pretty junky equipment and go out and at least do something. But the thing that we need to teach people, again, back to telling the story, is getting the eye for it and being able to having that experience and saying, I can learn as much as I can, but then it comes down to the be all end all of, now I'm in the chess match. Am I good at chess or not? You know what I mean?
it
Well-
it I'm sorry. It goes to the whole like the photography or YouTube aspect of it. It's so amazing, like what I learned on YouTube just within the last 3 to 4 years, and going back to the night before that I met Tano for that shoot. I'm going to tell this like quick story about it, and then the whole thing about that was I only went to go take pictures of the cars. I had no intention of taking pictures of the models, but I did want to tell the story on my article about that actually happening. So I said, I'm going to go over and take a picture of like the action that's happening, type thing. But in my head the night before, I kind of went, but what if I actually do take pictures of the models, or what if they ask me to?
Right.
And I'm not going to know how to do it. So I immediately went to like YouTube and like literally watched like 3 videos on how to pose models.
Yep.
And that day, Tano, I don't know if you remember this, there was a model that you just couldn't get her to like do like the right pose. And I literally said, all right, honey, what he's trying to tell you is you're not wearing heels, you're wearing sneakers. So you need to lift your heel back up. And so picture this old fart, like literally, like literally lifting my back foot up, like, and sticking and I'm like, that's what you need to do. And she went, oh, okay. And
I totally remember that. Yeah.
And I literally learned that the night before.
Yep.
And there's no excuse now for new budding photographers now, because there's so much for us to grab onto and learn from, and even from each other. I mean, the stuff that I learned from Tano and his dad as well in following, just by sharing ideas and sharing experiences, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, that was that. My thing is that not only that, but the access to all the different car shows, all the different friendships that we have now, the connected world that we have. And somebody was asking me one time, when should I take a photograph, or when should I do my stuff? And all the time, go take your own car. Go do some test photos with your own car. Go do your own, you know what I mean? Like, don't.
Oh my God. I've shot with my car so much.
Right.
There have been so many times where I'll watch a YouTube video and go, oh, that's really cool. And I'll be like, Dad, I'll be back in like an hour. And I'll just drive somewhere, find a spot on the side of the road, and I'll shoot for 20 minutes. And, I've shot my car so many times. It's boring. But when you learn something new and you can try out that new idea, it's suddenly so much more interesting.
Right.
And, you use what you have at the moment.
Was this all natural light? Bring that shot back up.
No.
It looked like a
So it was way too dark. I was shooting with my Sigma 35 1.4, which is actually the lens I'm running this on right now. And there was not enough light for what I needed. I think I was running with like a 20th of a second of exposure at 1,000 or 2,000 ISO. It was brutal. Yep. And one of the guys who works at that show came over. I was like, yo, Zeke, come here. He comes over. I was like, get your phone. He goes, what do you mean? Get your phone. He takes his phone out. I was like, your phone is a flashlight, right? He goes, yeah. It's like, I need you to stand. And so he's sitting on the ground doing this, holding his phone flashlight up in the air. So the only external lighting in that shot was a phone flashlight coming up kind of underneath her.
That's fantastic.
It was amazing. It was so perfect. And then he ended up actually following me around for like the next 20 minutes. And I was like, all right, Zeke, I need you to go stand right over there. And he would just hold his little flashlight. And it was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. And that's just, proof what we were saying earlier. Don't let your gear limit you, right?
Yeah.
I didn't need to go buy a $2,000 strobe light to make that work. I just found someone who had a phone that had a flashlight on it.
Well, that's something that's something we haven't talked about here is people don't realize how much ingenuity goes into taking these shots, because when I did a shoot recently. I don't know if you guys ever watched the channel In the Shop Media. I'm really good friends with Nathan, and he's a really cool guy, very helpful. Has kind of walked me through a lot of stuff. Like we kind of butt heads a lot of times. It's really cool. And we're able to, go out and do stuff. We kind of work together on a shoot that I'm hoping to bring out at some point. You guys are going to laugh. It's a really cool video, and I can't wait for it to come out. But that was the thing is when we did our shoots, they're very controlled. We know what we're going to do, what shot it is. We have time to build everything up, get it together. When it comes to automotive, and when we go out and actually do a car show, it's super dynamic. It is so much more difficult. Even so, and everybody's like, well, even if it's a car show and cars are stopped, and I go, you have an hour of light, and let's say the show's from 10 to 1. What if it's 4 to 6? What if it's 9 o'clock at night? What if it's a car meet? What if it's that guy is coming in? He's got 2 minutes to go to the show. You don't know who's going to be leaving, who's going to be coming. And it really takes a point when you're like you were saying, we decided to take a picture of this car. It was the perfect position for it. We had all the right stuff to do it. We just had to have the world cooperate with us for 2 seconds so that we could pull the frame. And sometimes it doesn't. You got to make that shot happen. You've got to say, I'm not leaving until I get that shot. And whatever equipment or lighting it takes, or moving stuff around, or doing whatever, you jump into it.
I was told by another professional photographer that the worst photography scenario is the field that I'm in.
Yeah, right.
In that,
I can believe that.
Yeah, going to a car show, there, if you do a model shoot or a portraiture shoot, you have complete control. You can choose your location, you can choose your light, you can choose your lens, and go from there. The issue with a car show specifically is I can choose my lens, I can choose my camera, but I can't choose the light that's available.
Right.
I can't choose the angle and of the car. It's not like I can tell them, hey, we need you to move your car about 15 degrees to the right.
Let's
you got to make it work.
Put it on the wheels. Roll it over.
So you're given like what light's there, what it could be high noon, which is the most harsh light you're dealing with, and that's when like my nemesis colors of cars is like yellow, orange, white, and you've got like the most overexposed picture with the underexposed background kind of thing, and it's really one of the most dynamic and hard mediums to shoot at a car show. Because there's just so little that you can control, except the camera, and accept the lens, and accept your positioning, not the model or not the car's positioning. It's like you have to position yourself correctly.
Yeah.
But what a world to learn in, though.
I think that's why I've learned so quickly, though. It literally kind of like my return to photography, and not that I knew a hell of a lot before, and even like I had high school photography training. I didn't really have like anything that was like dynamic, and certainly didn't do a model shoot. It was like they gave you a camera and went, go take a picture of a rock.
Well, think about this. Rodney's breaking into it was me standing in front of the camera. So that poor guy, I'm sorry, probably need therapy at this point. Like he's like, I remember my first. So I'm sitting in the Lambo dealership. I got the white car behind me. I'm like, hey, I don't have a good photo.
Oh
Can you take that?
Is it the stereotypical primo shot with sunglasses?
It's
like
probably the one that's on every cover of like everywhere.
I used to have to do profile shots every time I visit.
Yep. We keep bringing it up too. Like, you still got that photo? Like, you can't, it's everywhere. Like, it was so
Alan, I still have all 500,000 photos I've taken.
Oh, that's awesome. That's crazy to think about.
I was doing 7,000 photos a week.
You were at everything.
You got to remember, I was doing 3 nights at the clubs.
Yep.
And then hitting all the car events and stunt bikes and all that during the week.
That's a lot.
Rodney was mad. I have to say it like this.
How many memory cards did you fail with?
I used to be able to. I used to have 4 memory cards, 2 batteries, and that would last me the day, which was about 2,100 shots.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
in an average, my worst week was 9,000 pics.
Yep. Wow.
Oh, that pic right there.
Said, he would show up to so we did. I remember Cars and Copters. So I remember this thing is like, here he comes. Rodney's been building up for months now. It's this big thing. He's got you showed up with photographers. It was like bringing sand to the beach. It was crazy. So he's got
but I also brought the girls.
That's what I was going to next. He shows up. He's got 4 girls in tow. he's going from, and he's like raising the camera up, and he's like, "Who wants a picture with the models?" And just going from car to car. And everybody's like flocked to it. Like it was. Dare I call you the royalty of the car world? Like it just,
Oh my God.
especially the local one. Like it was. Maybe the Pimp Daddy, was that it? There's something else that I'm. That was just, there was something that just
in the last 3 years, I've been nicknamed the Rodfather.
That's it. That's it. Right. Right.
You know, I actually heard somebody mention that, like, at one of the shows. And I'm being dead serious. Somebody was saying, "Oh, have you seen any of the Rodfathers work?" And I'm like, maybe.
He's everywhere. And the thing is why did people know his name? Because you literally couldn't go to it. Now, today we have so many more big car shows. You know what I mean? I'm sure you'd miss a couple. But back then, it was the biggest shows that you had. We all went to them. Like if it was a big show, you were there. And you could count on seeing Rodney or me. Like I tried to be at everything. I was about 60 to 70%. But he was, if I didn't make it, I'd still get a picture of somebody else that would go out, find him, and you'd get a picture of Rodney. I mean, it's a 22 rally, the last show, not the last one, the one before and the other one. Every time you did something, I get the photo stuff for the proofs at the end, and there he is someplace in the mix. It's always, and it's not of the car, it's just Rodney. Like it's cars in the back, which it's focused directly on him.
I got to a point during the Meet New England ones where Tano's dad was there, and I got to the point where like I would actually take my camera and start shooting his dad while he was taking pictures, and then I'd like walk up and show him, and he would get so mad because like I always got him like when he's laying on the ground, like in the most awkward positions kind of thing, and I'm like, oh, that's dead sexy, work it, come on, give it to me.
All right, we're coming up on the last quarter of this, and there's something that I wanted to get to that I was hoping to get to a little earlier, but yeah, we're gonna cut right to the chase here because I want to do it. One of the things that people always ask me about, and that's the thing is because I do actually make money doing what I do. But everybody asks me, can I be a photographer and make money? So I'm gonna start with you, Joel. What do you think?
Say the question again so that I got it right.
How do we make money?
I don't. I mean, yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure that it was right because no, I don't. Like honestly, I am not making any money doing what I'm doing. It's done strictly for my website. What money I'm making is coming off of the Google AdSense, and that's it. And so like all of, you know, when Joel wants to go get like the latest lens or, you know, or new to him, which is, you know, I found like the most awesome, like used gear website so that I can get like professional grade gear and just do some like amazing stuff or bring myself to a higher level. And that's like, it's out of pocket. So I'm not making any money at this. This is really a labor of love.
So your plan down the road is not to make money. It's just going to be a hobby.
I mean, my plan down the road is that I want to make sure that the website is more prolific than my photography.
Right. So that's more, so that it's straight up a hobby then. It's secondary hobby. It kind of supports the primary.
It supports the primary.
Right.
Right. You know, and the primary is to, you know, to make sure that like I'm in the scene. Right. You know, if somebody wants to pay me to take a picture of their car, I'm certainly open to that. You know, I told Tano I'm not like going to go out there to make sure like I'm at some exclusive models primary photographer or anything like that. That's not why I'm like out there. But I'm not adverse to shooting models now. I'm not afraid to do it now that I've done it. But that's it. It's not the primary motivation for me to make money off of just the photography. That it's really, if I'm going to make money, I want it to be off of the website and getting the website.
And that's it. This is something big that we come up to people who want to write for magazines and stuff like that. Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying you're going to get rich doing it because the reality is you have to basically have to run your own thing
Right.
to really do it that route. In other words,
right.
but it's always going to end up at some point to say it's your business, and if you
Right.
want
I
to
mean,
make it a business or a hobby, you decide.
well, and that's the thing. I'm struggling at that midpoint of trying to decide if what I'm doing is a business versus a hobby,
Right.
because it becomes a totally different animal once you go to that. And I think like the primary of it is, you know, what I do for the show or for the website is, yes, I'm listing all of the car shows, but I'm also doing a blog about what I saw at the car shows, and that's taking pictures of what's at the car show.
Right.
And that's what's drawing my users in, is to see. Sometimes it's just to see their car.
Right.
You know, like they want to see a picture of their car on a website,
Yeah.
type of thing. And I think becoming a paid photographer in the automotive scene possibly is probably the most difficult to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, let's ask Tano about it, because he's up
Yeah.
next. And I mean, like you seem to me, and I mean, you've only been doing this pretty much a short. I mean, 4 years is pretty much a dedicated. Like, you've gotten into this deep enough to know what you're doing. You can obviously tell from the quality of your images. You've got the eye for it. You've obviously got the equipment and everything that you need to be successful. But the thing is it's a lot of people I see are saying, you know what, I can't just do it off of the automotive photography. I guess I'm going to have to go out and take some pictures of some weddings or something like that to feed that monster. Because I mean, that's the thing is I think some people do want this to be a business. Do you want it to be a business?
Right. Yeah. So when I kind of quick little backstory here, when I first started with my photography, it was senior year of high school, and I did it for a project for school. And that's where I taught myself black and white photography, built my own darkroom, learned how to develop prints, do negatives, all that. And at one of our presentation nights, where we had kind of a bunch of families come in and ask us all questions to kind of, help us dig into our project, the biggest question I got asked was, so what art school are you going to? Right. And every single time someone asked me that, I looked at them and I said, I'm looking to be an engineer. I have zero interest in going to an art school. I don't want to take photography classes. I don't want someone to tell me how my work is, right? Mm-hmm. And then they would, okay. So, but do you want to be a photographer? Is that what you want to be in life? And I went, well, no, because especially in the world of art, when you make your craft your living, it becomes very strongly pushed towards the whims of whatever your audience is, right? Mm-hmm. So as a photographer, I like shooting this way, but I don't make money unless I shoot this way, right? Yeah. And that to me was not okay. I did not want to get stuck in that world. I have a lot of family friends who are artists, and they're all amazing artists, and they get paid nothing for their incredible work.
Right.
And they all have side jobs because of that. So I am very dedicated to keeping my photography. Hey, if I break even, cool, that'd be great. But I don't need it to, right? That's not where I want it to be. I don't ever want to be reliant on it because I enjoy doing it.
How about this too? Maybe the idea of photography and art and all the stuff that's associated with this, and seeing these eyes and everything, really open you up, not just to be a photographer, but there's other things. Like, for instance, one of the photography things that I started off doing was I was working at a car dealership taking pictures of inventory. And the reason that I was doing so well and why people wanted me to continue to do it was because I didn't take junk pictures. And if you go on anything, if you go on Facebook Marketplace right now and look at the horrid pictures of people that have dealerships that you're like, you really did make that car look.
I sometimes go, I could have had this car sold if I took this,
right.
Picture of this car.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But the thing is you get into a dealership and they're like, no, take this picture, this picture, this picture. But if you go to a premium car dealership, I wish I could name some off the top of my head, but they're escaping me. But in other words, not like a big chain thing, but if you go to these specialty dealerships that sell stuff at Barrett or at I'm gonna name all the places, but anyways, any of those big, like Bring a Trailer, any of that kind of stuff, those guys
Yeah, there's a good one.
They want to have top quality photos, and they don't
Right.
want to have a guy that thinks within the box. They don't
Right.
want somebody that's going to just, you know, hey, here's the pictures that I need you to take. Follow the leader. No,
Right.
when I'm taking pictures of that Lambo, I want it. I'm in love with that Lambo. I'm telling the story of that Lambo. It may just be a car that's for sale, but if I put my heart into every single one of them, the people that are paying me are going to look over and say, "Can you do this? Can you do this?"
Well, I mean, every pre-Barrett, you know, like Barrett Jackson is like a good example. They always have like a catalog of what's going to be showing up, and it's always going to have like great professional shots of whatever
And
car that's coming.
I
up.
bet you money that guy's making money.
That guy's making money, right?
Making
That guy's making money,
Right.
and and that's certainly probably like a scene to try and get into,
Right.
you know, to possibly do that.
But
That's
you're in
not
a box. You're still in a box.
It's still in a box, and it's not a scene that I can get into and still maintain what I want to do with, you know, with
so you
my
take
website.
you take some pictures in that, and then you go on the weekends and you take the car show pics. But the other thing is not just think about it from that. So let's say you don't want to be in the automotive field. Doing CAD engineering is something that's going to take an artistic flair and an artistic look that a photographer is going to bring. Some person who is an artist is going to bring something very special to the table. And I don't think that I just want to say, I hate hearing it saying it's a second job. You know what I mean? I want to hear it's everything to me, not just thinking like when I did my stuff, it wasn't just about photos. It suddenly became marketing. It became, you know, publishing. It became all these little things. I'm like, hey, this stuff is all entwined in the same thing. My job is to make something look good. And if I can do that, I'm going to make more money at it. But my last question tonight, and this is going to the one and only Rodney here. My question is how do you become a legend? I'm not joking. That's a serious question for you because you.
Good question. How do you become a legend?
Yeah. How do we get to you? Because that's the thing is I hate to say it like this, but like Joel was saying, you don't ever not hear about you. You don't ever. I mean, I constantly go back. There are pictures that this Lambo picture right here. I remember getting this picture somewhere and using it on something, and then later coming back and going, "Oh, that's a Rodney shot." How many shots that I've had that I put up that I shared or found out where they were and realized like that's Rodney's pictures. They're everywhere. How do you do that?
Passionate about what you're doing.
Yep.
And not afraid to do the 7,000 shots a week.
Yeah.
It's basically it's put in the work.
Yeah.
And
So I think that's my biggest limitation is that I'm not shooting 7,000 shots a week. Right. You know, I think that's huge, you know, and to be able to do that, I think
but you also learn different techniques of how to process the pictures in batch. I used to now, believe it or not, most of the cameras are programmable, like backlighting, all that stuff. You can set them up, and I used to program them. So if it's like direct sun, you pick that program so it automatically compensates for everything, even you're shooting in manual.
Yeah.
I used to do, so the editing was limited. I used to batch file everything because I was shooting clubs 3 nights a week, shooting car shows, hitting stunt riders, doing everything, hitting major race events, major car shows, and just getting the stuff out there.
Right.
It's just putting the work in.
Yeah, making it the priority. If you really want to get out there and you really want to be, if you want, if those guys really, we were Instagram clout before Instagram was clout, right? That was the thing. Is I told everybody I was like, I'm doing this as a job, and I'm treating it like a job. And when I treated it like a job, it started paying me, and it was the weirdest thing ever because it really just said people wanted to see stuff, they wanted to be more involved in things.
I got to say though that I struggled for the longest time to even get to a point where I could say, and I still struggle actually, I still hate calling myself a photographer, you know, because it's mostly because I have so many friends who are like the true photographer who who do like the wedding shoots and that sort of thing, and like pull miracles out sometimes with a camera, kind of thing. And I kind of always, I originally said to myself, I could never call myself a photographer because I don't do what they do. And then when I started, doing what I'm doing, type of thing, and then Tano comes out and says, "Hey, a photographer." Right.
Hey,
Oopsie, sorry.
Joel, let me ask you something. You don't like using the term photographer. Are you into racing at all?
I'm more of just like the classic car scene.
Okay.
I was into racing until they did the race for the chase, and I hated that.
Okay. Well, no, think about this. Photographers, all right? Race car drivers. You got Formula One, and you got all the way back to barstool racing, lawnmower racing,
Yeah.
monster truck racing. No, there's so many different divisions. You're a photographer. You're just in a different division.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good
That's
way
all
to
you
look
got
at
to look at it. You can look at it as you're a photographer. It's just some of your friends are more NASCAR, the Cup Series.
Yeah.
You're more Saturday night stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not saying that's where you line up, but that's, it's just everybody's at a different level, but everybody has the same passion.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you know what? That's the thing is it has been an amazing discussion tonight. I hate for this stuff to end because it seems to fly by so well, but I have to end tonight on the best. It's so bad because the podcast guys won't be able to see the picture. If you guys have an opportunity, don't forget to go over to our executiveautomotivesociety.com. Check out some of those things. Make sure you hit the like button because it all means stuff to it. But yeah, so go over to one of these things that can show you the videos, maybe the new Spotify link, because you're going to want to see the best picture okay, I got to get rid of this real quick. Hold on, where is it at?
Oh, geez, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. I got to make sure that the best picture
Technical difficulty.
comes. This is a Rodney picture. Is this one right here? The best picture.
Oh, there it is.
Of all time. It's even
That's
me with
fantastic.
hair. Like,
Wait
can you
a
imagine?
minute, Alan,
Yes.
if you're going to make that the best picture, you got to make that your profile picture for the next week.
Were you kidding me? It's been
Come
been
on.
my profile picture multiple times, and you know it.
You got to put it back.
So yeah, I want to thank everybody that showed up tonight. It's been a great show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to everybody that commented. Again, we have, as always, Joel Chappell of NewEnglandAutoShows.com, Tano Rinaldi for his first time on the show from Always Stay Focused Media, and my best buddy here, Rodney, who is, I'm going to definitely be looking out for you at the next car show. So I want to thank you, everybody out there, everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget bell icons, whatever it does to make sure you don't miss another show, because this was a great one and we're looking forward to having the next one. We're trying to do, it's going to be Tuesdays. I may move it to 7, but I want to do more than one show a week. It really is going to be based on who we have for guests and everything. But regardless, if you head over to the YouTube, we will definitely have some other video coverage. We've already had one car show this week, and there'll be another one at the end of the week. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys, wish you the best of luck, both in automotive and photography. And as everybody out there knows, never forget, keep on rolling. See you soon.